Good evening. Welcome to Spirit Connections. I'm Tiffany Rice, Spirit Medium.
And I'm Stephanie Burke, Spirit Medium. And tonight we have our lovely guest, Tim Weisberg.
Spirit Extra Large.
Tim,
2XO.
you can find... Oh, it's okay.
Oh, little nugget. He does it for the rubs.
All right.
All
so
right.
to get to that next level already. You can find Tim, or I'm sure you recognize Tim from Spooky Southcoast, SpookySouthcoast.com. Legend Trips, WBSM. What else we get on there?
Standard Times.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Didn't know if we were going there.
Busy guy.
Right. If there's
You're
a job to
everywhere.
be filled, I'm your man.
And you're doing lectures, right? You're doing lectures this season?
No.
Well, you're
I'm
available.
available, but
Yeah, that's
the
what you
calls
want to
have
say.
been coming
is,
in because, Belanger.
Yeah. See, we didn't bring him up yet.
I was going to
You're
say,
the one
we
who
have
brought
this
him
thing
up.
where
Contractual.
we just try to, we try not to, but you're the one that threw it out there first. So.
Contractual, I have to.
It
I
does
have to
happen.
mention Jeff Belanger at least once per every hour that I'm on.
Every hour.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be like every 15 minutes.
Well, it's really awkward, like when I'm hosting my Saturday morning show on WBSM, which has nothing to do with the paranormal, and somebody would be like, well, I think, the New Bedford school system needs to do this, and I'll be like, well, I just go with whatever Jeff Belanger thinks about the New Bedford school system, so.
Oh
It's
my
awkward.
goodness.
It just
That gets
it
awkward.
can be awkward.
That's okay.
But
Hey,
makes it fun.
at least people don't mistake me for Jeff Belanger like they do Chris Balzano.
Really?
Like every time he does an appearance somewhere, they're like, oh, we have Chris Belanger with us.
Oh no.
oh, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like
or
a,
Jeff Balzano, but they always say, at least with me, it's Weisberg, so.
When is Chris going to come back? Is he ever going to come
I
back to
don't-
visit or do some sort of legend trip events, do you think?
I don't know how involved Chris is in things right now. He's heavily into his job. He's a teacher.
Oh, okay.
So, and he's been given a lot of extra responsibilities. So it might be a while before he can dip his toes back in the paranormal
I'd
waters.
like to
so.
have him come back.
We all would. And I think he would love to. But,
One day at a
Florida
time.
weather, New England weather.
Right.
Yeah,
but
he made
there's
the right choice.
There's nothing like fall in New England.
Yeah,
This is very true.
there's nothing like it. But then winter comes.
Right.
And
everything's-
I could take it or leave it. I mean, it's beautiful when it snows. That
The
first
first
snow.
snow, the first snow.
And then I'm over it.
See, snow makes me angry.
Does
Whenever
it?
it snows,
Why?
Matt Costa can attest to this. Whenever it snows, like if like snow is in the weather report for like days ahead, I just get angry. I hate shoveling. I hate driving in it. I hate everything about it. So, as far as I'm concerned, once November ends, I'm pretty much ready for like May. But fall is my favorite season. So
Fall is my favorite.
I love it. I just actually had a cider, hot cider, which reminds me of fall.
a generic hot cider.
I guess it's
hot
a generic hot
Not from
That's
any
what they're
particular
telling me. That's what
establishment.
they're telling me. Well, we wanted to have you on the show for a multiple amount of reasons. But first and foremost, one being Legend Trips, which Legend Trips is having an event this Saturday at Slater Mill in Pawtucket. Now, you guys have been there before. I think it was last April 12th or last 21st. Was it
It was
12th?
actually
Not last,
this
but
year.
it
It's
Yeah, April 2012, because I think
Yeah.
we did Houghton Mansion last April.
Yep.
But yeah, this will be our second Legend Trips event at Slater Mill, and it's one of the most requested, before the USS Salem event, that was our biggest event to date. And it's our most requested return, one of our most requested return trips. People want to get back in there, they want to come and investigate. And it's a unique location because you get 3 different buildings as part of the event. You're in Slater Mill, you're in the Wilkinson Mill, and you're in the Sylvanus Brown House. So you have 3 different locations with 3 different types of activity, plus you got the Blackstone River running right through it.
We have a call, guys.
Oh, we already have a call.
Awesome. It's somebody that I owe money to.
Hello.
Yeah, is this Spirit Connections?
Yes, it is.
I'm looking for Tim Weisberg.
He's here.
Speaking, yes, yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Tim, this is Eric Martin from New England Ghost Finders. What's up, brother?
Hey, Eric, what's going on?
Same old thing, man. Watching some TV, relaxing.
Are you watching Spirit Connections?
I'm trying to find it, and I can't find it on the TV. I don't know where I would look.
It depends on where you live. Do you live in Wareham?
I'm in Fall River.
Yeah, you won't find it on TV, but you can find it on the internet.
On the internet, all right?
Right. Which address should we give him?
The spooky, yes.
You can do that? All right. SpookySouthcoast.com. www.spooky-tv.
Spooky Southcoast.
Yep, .com/spooky-tv.
/spooky/ dash TV.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And then you'll be able to see these two lovely ladies to either side of me, and then me ruining everything in the middle. So while you're loading that up, do you have any questions? We're talking about our Legend Trips events that we have coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been interested in the triangle myself, but I don't really know too much about it.
The Bridgewater Triangle?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much every type of paranormal activity that can happen happens there. And there's going to be the world premiere of the film, The Bridgewater Triangle documentary. That'll be coming up on October 20th. I'll be there as part of that panel. And it's going to be the entire film in a Q&A session. And while you're on Spooky TV, you can actually see that we have some options for you to see it if you can't make it to UMass Dartmouth. So anybody, I know you guys have, you're worldwide with this through the YouTube, as the kids say. So, wherever you are, you can take part in this.
That's awesome.
All right, so I know you're an investigator, but you've never investigated the triangle at all?
No, I have not.
Well, there's plenty of ways to do so. Just make sure that you do it legally.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been a paranormal investigator for 13 years.
Nice.
And I'm the founder of New England Ghost Finders now. It's a fresh new crew that I have.
All right. And have you ever been to Slater Mill?
The most recent investigations I've done was the Lizzie Borden home. I've been to St. Augustine Lighthouse and Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Nice. Well, we know Lizzie Borden's very well. We do 2 events there every year. But if you go to our website, legendtrips.com, you can see all the events that we have coming up. And we'll be at Slater Mill this Saturday. We'll be right here in Wareham at the Fearing Tavern, October 12th. And we have only about 8 tickets left for the Haunted Victorian Mansion in Gardner, Mass. in November. And Tiffany and Stephanie will be with us for both of those events as well. So all you Spirit Connections fans out there, you can come and meet them.
Very awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at the 2 lovely ladies you're sitting in the middle of right now.
Hi.
You might recognize them from the Southcoast Paranormal and Psychic Fair.
Yes, I do. Hi.
Hi. You can find me at Spirit Medium Tiffany on Facebook, and then that way, because I don't think we're friends, so that's where you can find me.
You're like, we're not friends.
We're not friends yet.
Oh, Tiff.
Every person is a friend waiting to happen.
Right. Friends.
Yeah, I found you, Tiffany.
Okay.
There you go. All right, well, why don't you keep watching the show there on Spooky TV, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
And do we give out the numbers on the air for people to call in too?
Yep. It's if you guys are looking to call in, the number here is 781-281-8433.
Pretty fancy. There you go.
Oh, good. Right underneath us.
That's how you learn to work to the camera. But I always have to give out phone numbers, and for the first 7.5 years of the show, I've always been able to give the numbers out perfectly with no problem. And it seems like ever since I started doing Saturdays too, I just fumble over the numbers all the time, and I'll be in the middle of them and be like, wait, that's not right. 50899, and my biggest fear is that eventually I'm going to give away my cell phone number on the air accidentally.
It could happen.
It will happen.
You never know.
So far, so good.
Well, you have so many shows, that's fine. If you weren't so popular, maybe you could have everything together.
Well, I do whatever they need me to do over there. That's what I want to do full time. I love talking on the radio, whether it's about the paranormal or about anything else. So that's what I want to do. So every time they call me, can you come in? I say, yes. Just tell me when you need me and I'll be there. So, so far, so good. A few people have called in and said, oh, I like hearing you. You do a good job. And then a few people have called in and said, what happened to the other guy that used to be on? So.
And you say, hey, it's me now. Enjoy it.
Right. Well, the other guy has his own show too, so you can still hear him.
So getting back on track to Legend Trips. So
Yes.
this weekend we have Slater Mill,
Right.
which I'm very excited for. And then in October, we have the Haunted History Night in Wareham,
Mhm.
and then November, we have the Haunted Victorian. So are you guys trying to do an event once a month, or?
You know, ideally, we like to have a little bit more space in between them because we get burnt out doing them. And poor Jeff is traveling all over the country for the next couple of months. So he's booked pretty much every weekend. So these couple of weekends that he had at home, he was looking to work in something just because he can stay local and still be out there to
Right.
meet the crowd. So it worked out that way only because, you know, we've been doing Haunted History Night annually in October for a couple of years now. And it's a big fundraiser for the Wareham Historical Society. But the Slater Mill thing came about because so many people had been asking for us to go back, and Slater Mill was hearing from people wanting us to go back. So we decided to do it as the kickoff to their Halloween ghost tour season.
That's
So
really
in order
cool.
to do that, that meant we had to do it at the end of September, 2 weeks before our Wareham event. So I will not be getting much sleep for pretty much until Christmas.
But it's good. It's what you're passionate about, and you can talk
I'm
about it
also
on the
passionate
radio.
about sleep, though.
Yes,
You know,
I
I
know.
love
Very
sleep.
true.
Naps are my best friend.
Well, that's how, I know, I don't know about you, Steph, but Sunday at the Southcoast Paranormal and Psychic Fair, afterwards I was exhausted. There was a paranormal and psychic fair at Marina, I was going to say Marina Bay. Sorry, the Seaport.
That would have been
Yeah.
Tom Brady would have came.
Giselle, Tom,
Yeah.
hey, I'll take them. But it was in Fairhaven, the Seaport in Fairhaven. And Steph and I both did a gallery reading there. And we brought through some amazing past loved ones. But I think a lot of times people don't realize how
much it
exhausting
takes
it can
it,
be.
yeah.
I know. I actually went home and I was wiped out. I actually went to dinner because it was my wedding anniversary. So we went out to dinner right afterwards, and then I went home and I had to watch Breaking Bad because I couldn't risk somebody
Right.
spoiling it for me the next day if I
Naturally.
waited.
Facebook spoils all kinds of
I
stuff.
know. I
like
can't
I
even turn
know.
it on. So I'm sitting there watching the show and I'm dozing off. I'm like, why am I so tired? I didn't even have to do a gallery reading, But I was exhausted from
all
it.
that energy stuck in one location for the
Well,
whole entire day.
Then I think I caught the con flu too. So
Oh,
there's
no.
that. Whenever you get a mass of people together like that, somebody's got to get sick. So
You're
it
going to
looks
be
like it's
choking
my
on
turn.
something.
Where did that come from?
Well, I mean like a cough, like a respiratory infection maybe.
Okay, good. Because that's a better explanation for what was going through my head.
This show is rated PG.
It is.
13.
No, I'd probably just go with a good old G. That might be safer in Tiffany's.
Right.
Tiffany's realm. Yeah. No, we did the gallery reading. It was for an hour. Kind of felt like we almost ran over a little bit.
You did run
but-
over.
Oh, we did?
You did. I was going in there to kind of give you the hint to wrap up, and I walked in and I just saw tears. And so I was like, I can't interrupt the middle of tears. And I had actually built in a buffer because I know that with those things, it can happen that way because you don't want to leave somebody hanging.
Right.
Right.
When somebody's in the middle of having this happen to them and they're having this amazing experience, the last thing you want is somebody like me coming and be like, all right, time's up. So I kind of built in that time a little bit. And people that I know were in there. And people that I know were coming out and saying, like, I don't know how that happened, but it did. So kudos to you girls.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for giving us the opportunity for being there.
Well, we tried to make the South, because Steve, the guy who organizes the event, he's so busy with his Rhode Island Comic-Con that happens in November that, he kind of ran into some issues with the South Coast Paranormal and Psychic Fair. So he asked me if I could help him out and see if we could, make it bigger and better in terms of who we brought in for speakers and make it different.
Right.
I mean, no offense to the people who've been coming there for the last few years, but we've had kind of the same speakers. So we wanted to give it a different twist and have some other things included. So we had a screening of the American Scream documentary, which was filmed in Fairhaven about home haunts, and we had some of the cast members there. We had the sneak peek of the Bridgewater Triangle documentary. We had the gallery reading, which was something that they'd never really done there before. They always had them, the mediums in the back reading and the psychics in the back reading, but never that gallery session. And I'm thinking, well, gee, you're probably the only two that I would have do that. No offense to anybody else, but I've heard so much good things, and now that I've actually had a reading from you guys, kind of accidentally,
Yep.
now I can. Before I used to say, well, I can vouch for them because I have friends and family who have had readings from them, and have come back saying that it was amazing, but then it just happened kind of accidentally, unintentionally, and so now I can give firsthand endorsement, which I normally don't endorse any psychics. So you're the only two.
Kind of like
That's
Dr.
good.
Oz doesn't endorse anything.
Well, unless he can make some money off of it.
Well, it's glad to know that you would endorse us.
To be clear, we are not paying Tim
No.
Weisberg.
Right.
Not at all. I would never be able to try and do what you do, and look at people and say, okay, here's the amount of time that you have, and whatever the price is, but here's the amount of time. I could never do that because I could never stay focused and on topic enough. I don't care if there's people appearing right before me, spirits appeering right before me. I'd still be like, all right, so did you see Breaking Bad this week?
That's the only time I'm focused.
It is the only time.
When I'm
It
giving a
really is,
reading.
and it's funny because you just said that you came in the room to kind of like let us know it was time to wrap up. That's why I asked Matt Manise to be in the room, because I know how Tiff is, and you know how Tiff is with like the frazzled, like it's almost like watching like a bouncy ball bounce off the walls back and forth over and over again. That's how she gets before the readings. Pause, we have a caller.
Ooh, a call.
Remember, folks, one call per show.
Hello?
Stephanie's
I think
mom.
I think it's personal.
Yeah.
It's not personal, it's not come through. Hello? It happened the last time.
They would like to know if you're happy with your long distance service.
So I think it's Kira, and Kira tried to call last time and it hung up the first time and it was successful the second time. That's weird. But anyways, I asked Matt to come in to kind of be like the grounding energy for us, because otherwise you're like bing, 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 bing. But when you came in, I didn't even realize you walked in the room. I don't realize you walk out of the room. I didn't know anything that was going on. I didn't even realize, and I don't even know if I told you this, when Matt was done filming, didn't even realize that he put camera
Oh,
down.
no, me neither.
It's good you didn't realize it, because I was trying not to be distracting by coming
Kira.
and going out.
All right, Kira's calling us.
To accept, press 1.
Oh, I like that.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Kira.
Hello, Kira.
Hi.
Hi.
Say Legend Trippers.
It's
Tell
your
me, say Legend Trippers.
it's your favorite Legend Trippers.
Yep.
Hey, where would you guys be without me? Seriously.
Right. Kira,
I know.
Kira comes to all of our
Come
events,
on.
and she's always, she's great to hang around with. And I just, sometimes I wonder though, Kira, if you aren't bringing some spirits along with you.
Sometimes I wonder that myself. I really do.
As long as you
all that's happened to me through everything.
just make sure you take them home with you when you're done.
There you go.
You know what? I tell them to come home with me, but I think they get scared as soon as they come in. And my house is even scarier. So.
Oh, no.
You know what, Kara? I have a question for you.
Okay.
So far, what has been your favorite Legend Trip event?
My favorite Legend Trip event. Wow. You know what? I'd have to say it was my first one. And I'm not just saying that because it's coming up again for anybody who wants to join us Slaterville this weekend. But my first Legend Trip was at Slaterville last April, and I have to say that was my favorite. That was the most profound experience that I've ever had.
You said that was your very first one?
Yes, it was my very first Legend Trip.
Oh, wow.
And I think you've been at every one since.
Yep.
I have been, yes. It's me. I'm the Legend Tripper.
You are.
My name is Kira, and I am addicted to Legend Tripping.
I love it.
Well, that's why we're able to do these, though, is because of people like you coming and being respectful to the location and showing these places that it's okay to let paranormal investigators and legend trippers come in, because so many places they don't want to let us go in. I've called quite a few, and I won't name any names, Battleship Cove, who have said that they won't allow us to come in because they feel that it's disrespectful and that the ghost hunting crowd is not one that they'd want to associate with. So, but every time we go and do an event, I hear all kinds of compliments from the people who run the location saying, wow, this is not what we expected it was going to be.
They're full of it. They're laid back, but at the same time, you guys know how to put on something professional. You know how to make it all work. You know how to make it all fun.
Well, that's the thing
And,
is,
like you said, everybody's respectful. We take care of things. We don't make huge messes. We clean up and more or less after ourselves.
Right.
I mean, well, if not, we clean up after you leave, which happens more often than you'd think.
Yeah. Well, I help out a little bit.
I don't mean you individually, but like at Slater Mill, the first time we were there for an extra 2 hours after the event was over. cleaning up and taking out the trash and, doing all that kind of stuff, because we want to make it look like we had never been there, except for the giant donation that we left in our wake for the location. But that's one of the things that people don't really realize about Legend Trips. A lot of people put events on, and they have a formula, and we have a formula, but they'll have a formula, and they'll just follow that, and if it works, they just keep going with it. But Jeff and I are never really happy with anything. We're constantly looking for ways to tweak it. And we obsess about it for days going into the event. How can we make this the best event that we can? And then immediately once it's over, we might take a day off to not think about it, but then it's 3 or 4 days of phone calls saying, okay, what did we do wrong in this one? What can we do better next time? And that's, I think, the fact that we keep trying to find new ways to make it better, because we never realized that when we started doing this, we were going to have people that came to every event.
Right.
We thought we'd be getting different people each time, and when that happens, you can kind of float. You can kind of present the same thing again and again. But now, because we have these great regular Legend Trippers, we're challenged more to find a way to come up with a new event each time.
And different things that happen at each
It's a way
event.
to connect with people of like minds,
Exactly.
It's not really a huge thing. Oh my God, it's paranormal. But when you can find people with like minds like that and that share, not only that thought as, hey, it's the paranormal, but also can be like respectful enough to, be there and take care of things and be cool about it. Why the hell not?
Well, and look at yourself. I mean, look at the friendships that you're able to make. I mean, we've had paranormal teams that have formed as a result of these trips. I always say it, but eventually we're going to have a wedding. Sooner or later, somebody's going to meet at one of our events and get married. And so that's what makes it worthwhile for us. The fact that it's...
You never know.
Hey, yeah, it means something to people, and that's what we like about it. That and the fact that we can make these, sizable donations to places that we think are pretty cool and that people should be going to.
Well,
yeah, I think that's awesome too, because you're helping these guys. I mean, like you say, come for the history, stay for the ghost, or the other way, come for the whatever. But I mean, they're both there, they're both interactive, and it's awesome. It's just an awesome time. It's so well worth it.
Well, thank you.
is there, before we let you go, is there any event that you would, or any location that you would like to go to? As far as being a Legend Trip event, sorry.
I'm not sure, actually. I mean, because I guess I'm just kind of following along here and there, like, oh, hey, I never knew that place was haunted. I never knew that place was haunted. So, I mean, I've heard that there might be some place in Connecticut, my friend told us, that, might be approachable, but, hey, that would be cool place.
We're talking to them, and it's one of those things where once we have kind of enough, I don't know how we don't have enough of a resume already. This will be, I think, Slater Mill's our 15th event that we've done, or 16th. So, I think once we have enough behind us, we can go to a lot of places, and we have a little bit more cachet. We have the places where we hold our events, we have them give us letters of recommendation to get into other places. So we do make sure that when we approach a location, they are aware that although it's for entertainment purposes only, it's also educational and it's also going to be respectful. So I think it's a matter of time before we can get the place that you mentioned to agree to let us come in.
Yeah, I've heard, I've been hearing about that one for quite a while from somebody in particular high up there on the Legend Trips. I won't go there yet. But, no names or anything. I'm not dropping any names. I'm just saying I heard that,
Well, we'll make it
That would
happen.
be awesome.
We're working on some cool
Okay.
stuff for 2014, so.
And hopefully hoodies,
Well, you can
hoodies or
count me in, you know
t-shirts.
that.
What's up?
I said you can count me in, you know that.
Oh, I know. If Kira's not the first person to buy a ticket, then she's usually within the first 2 or 3. And that's, she's on the exclusive pre-sale list, which people can get on by coming to our
Very
events
true.
or by going to legendtrips.com and signing up. But that's how I know that the emails worked, because when I send them out, Kira will usually buy a ticket, and I'm like, okay, I guess the email's sent correctly.
Okay, email it out. Yeah. You betcha.
All right, well, thank you so much for checking in.
Hey, not a problem.
Have
I'll
a-
see you guys this weekend.
Yes,
Awesome.
you
Thanks,
are.
Kara.
So I don't mean
All
to.
right.
I don't mean to wrap
Bye.
up the phone calls for you and go into host mode.
Oh
but
no, that's
I'm just
okay. It's
used to
hard.
doing that.
It's so difficult. I know.
It happens. Speaking of the exclusive pre-sale list, funny story is I'm on there not because I help out, but it's because I actually attended the first ever Legend Trip event as a guest.
You did. And the only reason you're still on there now is because that's how you know that we're having an event that we need you at, because I never remember to tell you.
No, you don't remember.
So
to
you
tell
get
me.
the pre-sale link and you click on it and you're like,
I see
oh,
my
look,
face
I'm on
and
the
I'm
guest
like,
list.
oh, cool. I have to make sure that I can make it because twice I've been in Florida. So
But yeah, you were at the first
I was
event.
at the first ever event, and how things have changed since then, but in a really positive, great way. Things have just gotten bigger and better and more efficient. And
Which was the first one?
It was 2010, Lizzie Borden.
That was the first one under the official
The
Legend
official
Trips
name,
banner.
yep.
But the first time we ever tried to do an event was at the Water Street Cafe.
Which we both were at.
Yeah,
and you guys were there for that too. And
that's when I first met Steph.
I was.
No, that's not true.
Isn't it?
Nope.
I think I'd met you maybe 2 or 3 times.
You had
before
met me
that.
before, yeah.
Yeah, but only just a few times. I still didn't realize that you are just weird.
I am just
She
weird.
is really weird.
So, but I think the first time I ever met you was I think it was in the kitchen of Lizzie Borden's.
Yes, it was August 2nd, 2008.
And I walked in and said, "Make me some dinner, woman."
Yeah, and I was like, give me some corn cakes,
But yeah, I mean,
Johnny cakes.
from what we've been able to do from that first event, we'll call the Water Street Cafe our first event. What we've been able to do from that to now is it's all because of the people who come to the
Right.
events. If we had looked at that first Water Street Cafe event and been like, okay, we can just keep doing this. We'd just be going having dinner in a haunted restaurant
Yep.
and that would be it. But people wanted more and we've tried to find a way to give them more.
But you've really catered to the customer, which is awesome.
Well, that's the way you have to do. I mean, I don't go on other paranormal events because, quite frankly, they're a lot more money than ours, and I can't afford it. So I see some of these other events that people do, and I realize, all right, if you're going to charge a $300 or $400 price tag like they do, you've got to give them something more than just being able to hang out with celebrities, because there's so many other places that you can hang out with these same celebrities
Right.
for far less money.
Right.
So what's the advantage of being able to go on an investigation with them, and at a time when you're really not supposed to talk to them because you're investigating?
Right.
So what's the advantage of paying so much money for that when you could just pay $25 and go meet them at a convention somewhere and talk to them for 20 minutes? So we realize that bringing in celebrities isn't really the key. We realize that the biggest star of any of these events is the location itself.
Right.
So our fundamental approach has been to give people the information that they need and then get the heck out of the way and let them explore the place.
Right, which people get so excited for. And I remember, as much as I love, I love every part of the whole entire event. I've seen you guys lecture and talk 15 times already, I think.
Probably the same lecture 15 times.
But it's still so interesting to watch. The only thing that I've become immune to is when Jeff Belanger says to shut his eyes and then he scares the crap out of everybody. I don't fall for
just
that
gave it
anymore.
away.
That's okay. He hasn't done that in a while, so it could be a surprise.
He did it at the Hode.
Did he? Okay, I wasn't there for that one. But that's the only thing I became immune to. But other than that, it's just, I'd love to hear about the place and to, just soak in everything that legend tripping is about. And I think that's really important for people. Like, I remember being like, oh, as much as I want to see these lectures, are they over already? I want to go investigate, or I want to go explore the place. And it's so exciting.
And we had to do that. We tried to pack as many lectures as we could.
Yep.
Excuse me, I'm going to have to cough. Excuse me, I know it's terrible. But we tried to pack a lot of lectures in. And we tried to make it so that you got as much entertainment as you could. And then we realized people are getting antsy. They don't want to listen to us talk. They don't care. I don't care how great your PowerPoint is. They just want to get out there. They want to get down and dirty, and they
Right.
want to investigate. So that's why a lot of our events now, we'll just talk for like 15, 20 minutes and give kind of an overview of some discussion points for the investigation, or maybe just where we see the field going. And it seems to work out better that way because it gives you more time investigating, and you can find out that a lot of that stuff that you want to talk about can come up naturally in the course of the investigation.
Right.
Except when you're on the USS Salem, when we didn't really have a chance to to go too long on the lectures because everybody was just pouring sweat in that room. We had to get everybody out of there as quick as we could.
Never been so shiny in my life.
That's the one time that I actually am thankful for feeling sick to my stomach because I was so cold from not feeling good. I was the only one that didn't sweat.
You and Kira were the only ones that didn't sweat because she positioned herself right in front
That's
of the
very
fan,
true.
so.
That's very true. But
Another point that I want to make too, when you're doing other events, not legend trips, but the other events where they have the guest celebrity and so forth, there's usually hundreds of people.
Right.
And with
Yeah.
legend trips, if you go on to any event, it usually gives you, okay, this Slater Mill, we can open it up to hypothetically 80 people. I'm just throwing, I'm not going to say that's the number, but but we're going to open up to 80 people. Or Lizzie Borden, we're going to stop it at 25. So when you go in to legendtrips.com and you pick an event that you'd be interested in, you have a choice. Do I want to go to a bigger venue, something like the USS Salem, or do I want to make it a little bit more personal and try to go to the Houghton Mansion or the Victorian?
Actually, we put on the event, which a lot of other paranormal events companies won't do, but we put right on there how many tickets we're limiting it to so that you have an idea. But I think one thing that we need to do a better job of telling people about in the description is, even though we say that we're only going to sell 60 or 80 tickets, that might seem like a huge number, we break everybody down into smaller groups. So you're really only investigating with 10, 15, 16 people at the most. And you never really have to be in that giant crowd atmosphere except for during dinner and lectures, which is when you want to be with everybody. And that's how you decide who you want to go out and investigate with. And that's the social aspect of it. But then when the investigations come, we try to make it as intimate as we can, even in these giant locations. And one of the things that I've seen with other companies is they'll have 200 people at one of their events. And they'll have the Friday night ghost hunt and then the Saturday night ghost hunt. So half those people go on Friday night and half those people go on Saturday night. Well, what happens if Friday night is super active and Saturday night nothing happens? And then half those people feel like they weren't part of the magic of the whole thing. So by doing it this way, by bringing a smaller number of people but having everybody be there at once, we know that if at 9 o'clock, the first group that goes through the Fearing Tavern is seeing shadow people, there's a good chance that at 10:30, the next group that comes through will also continue to see shadow people, as opposed to it having to be a whole another day later where so many different things could change.
I also want to talk about, since we're discussing repeat locations and stuff, we're going back to Slater Mill. It's been a while since we've gone back to Slater Mill, but I think a huge part of what you guys do is it's not always the same event. It might be the same location, but you change it up. You change it up with different lectures. You change it up with like different modalities that you bring to the actual investigation. Like you guys have done Wareham Haunted History Night for, is this third year or second year?
This might be
Third.
I think it's the third one.
It is third.
Is it third?
It is the third one. Yep, it is. It'll be my second. It'll be Tiffany's third. But this past year, you guys decided let's do something different. You asked me to table tip the whole night in one part of the location. And I know Jeff always has a different gadget with him. He always has a different way of doing things. So I think that's really important too when it comes to what you guys do.
And that's the good thing about Jeff is that he's very good friends with Bill Chappell. So he's always seeing some of Bill's latest inventions. And that's what's exciting about Slater Mill this weekend is we're actually going to be using the Kinect camera system that you've seen on Ghost Adventures, which it's not the same camera that you get when you buy an Xbox Kinect camera. And this is a developer's camera. So this cost him a couple $100. Jeff had to buy it and have Bill modify it. And it's the real deal. I mean, this can do a lot more than the home camera can do. And Bill has made tweaks to both the hardware and the software in order to utilize it for paranormal investigation. But basically what happens is if you've never seen an Xbox Kinect camera, it sits on top of the system or on top of your television and it maps the entire room. And in mapping the entire room, it has points where it realizes there's a person in front of you and it maps out the person and then it measures your motion and movement. And that's how it reacts to the game. Well, the way that this has been modified now is it does the same thing. It will map the room and it will map the person sitting right in front of the camera. And with the algorithm that it uses, if another person was to enter the room, it would immediately start to map them. Well, what we're seeing happening on this is nobody else will be in the room. And what it does is it puts you up there visually as a stick figure on the screen. So while you're sitting there looking at the screen and you see that stick figure that represents yourself, other stick figures will start to manifest around you.
Wow.
And at the same time, they're getting other activity that's taking place. They're feeling like they're being touched. Well, look over at you on the screen because there's another stick figure right next to you. So we are the only other people besides Bill Chappell that has one of these systems. He's having us beta test this at our events.
That's really cool.
So if
I'm
you come up to
excited to
Slater
see
Mill,
that.
it's going to be something that nobody else has used yet. So whether whether you're really into Bill's stuff and you want to see this in action, you can come and do that. Maybe you are skeptical of the whole process and you want to see how it works, you can do that as well.
That's really cool. That's definitely cool.
And the Johnson brothers will be there this weekend, right?
Right, yep. Keith and Carl, they'll be there. They run all the ghost tours at Slater Mill. They are the resident experts of the paranormal side of Slater Mill. So actually, they know everything about the mill. So they'll be there, and they'll be investigating it with us. And also, you ladies will be there as well.
Yes, we will.
We will, with bells on.
And people can purchase individual readings with you during the lecture
Absolutely.
portion of
Very
the show.
true. Very true.
And we've already got people emailing me saying, I want to be first, I want to be first. So
Yay! I'm excited.
only one person can be first, but
This is true. Actually, 2 people could be first.
Well, that's another thing, too. I was just going to say, because a lot of times people want the private, like Sunday, a lot of people had asked both of us if we were doing the private readings, and we weren't. We kept it to the gallery readings. But Stephanie and I both do private readings at our offices. My office is located in Pembroke, and hers is located in New Bedford. So if you guys are ever interested in just a private one-on-one reading, as much as you want to go to the events, if you can't make it to the event, we still offer them. So definitely, please get in touch with us. And
at the events, I mean, really, that's just a little taste of what you can do.
Right.
Because we have, first of all, there's so many people around that's going to have an impact on what can actually happen. But also, we have a full slate of people who want to get readings. So you're getting, that 20 minutes, and then, I'm sorry, even if something really cool is happening, we've got somebody else waiting. Right. And we have a limited window in which to do these readings. So I'm hoping that it works for you guys as being kind of like a way for people to kind of sample your abilities, and then they get in contact with you for a full reading later on.
in which that has happened.
But it's also
yeah.
It's also important to me too, though, that people see what you can do, because then you join us for the investigation.
Yes.
So, there might be somebody who's skeptical of people with abilities, and they're going to kind of dump all over what it is that you're saying in the course of the investigation, but then somebody else is going to say, no, wait, I got a reading from them beforehand. I mean, they had stuff coming through, so maybe we should listen to what they're saying. And so it's kind of a way to, I don't want to say legitimatize what you're doing to the people who don't believe in it, but it's a way to kind of make them better understand before they've made up their mind.
Right.
And we've seen skeptical people come into these events and walk out true believers. It's happened. Not just from your abilities, but just the paranormal in general.
Well, we turned you around, too.
Oh, you definitely. Well, it's not that I didn't believe. It's just I had...
You were a bit of a
You had to experience that aha moment.
Right, but I was like that with the paranormal in general, too.
Yep, you were.
And now I just keep... And now I don't even care about having those moments anymore. I care about seeing other people have those moments and watching the look on their face when they have it happen to them the way that it happened to me.
And then that's when you know you're doing what you're out to do. You're achieving what you're out to do.
Either that or, you're making somebody totally question every belief they've ever had in their entire life, and, there's something kind of fun about breaking down somebody's entire belief system.
That's very true, too. Very sketchy gray area, but very true.
You're right. The morality of this is very
Yes.
much in question.
So if you guys do have any questions, you can give us a call at 781-281-8433. Now, Tim, are you going to Rhode Island Comic Con?
I will be there. I'll actually be hosting it. I'll be one of the hosts of it, myself and Robert Picardo, who was on one of the Star Treks. I'm sorry to say, I don't know which one, but he played the Doctor, the hologram Doctor, on one of the Star Treks. I know him as Kevin Arnold's gym teacher. So
Okay.
that's, and being kind of a student of 80s pop culture and growing up with 80s television and movies, those will be the panels that I'll be handling as a host. I'll be...
There's a lot of them. I was checking out the guest
There
list,
is.
and there's a ton.
I'll be handling the Weekend at Bernie's panel,
Yeah.
the Weird Science panel, the Karate Kid panel. I said I would literally crane kick somebody in the face if they keep me from hosting the Karate Kid panel. So, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic event. There's so many people coming to this thing that really, if you go there and don't have a good time, then there's something wrong with you. I'm hoping that we can get Sam Jones to do some shots with us like you did and Ted.
There you go.
You saw Ted, right?
No.
With the bear?
No.
Didn't see Ted?
No?
I haven't seen it.
All right, show's over. Get the
That's-
DVD.
I know. I need to watch it. I'll watch it. I swear. I'll watch it.
No, you won't. I can't believe that you've not seen that movie.
No, it has a Wahlberg in it. You would think that I'd be all
Yeah.
over that. I haven't.
Wow.
Anything with Wahlberg, I'm usually right on. Like
Anything
okay.
with living teddy bears, I'm all
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
Wahlbergs, I can take them or leave them, but man.
Furries, it's just your inner furry coming out.
Well, the teddy bear drew you in, not Mila Kunis.
Oh yeah, that too.
I was gonna say Mila Kunis probably would have been first, then the teddy bear. But if you're into that sort of thing, I mean, that's okay.
Well, and also Sam Jones, who you'll get to see at the Rhode Island Comic Con. Flash Gordon himself, he'll be there. So we know what we're talking about when we say having shots with Sam Jones. But
Yep. You're.
I'm
Not
out.
alone.
I'm out.
I have to watch so many movies now between now and the first weekend in November just to re-up some of my 80s knowledge. Like, I haven't seen Beastmaster in like 30 years. So they're going to have Mark Singer there and John Amos, who I'm sorry, I thought he was dead. But
no.
he'll be there. And
Wait, Mackenzie Austin's dad?
no,
Patty
John,
Duke's husband?
No, John Amos, the dad from Good Times.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
He'll be there. Yeah, he was in Roots and Coming to America, and he was in Beastmaster, so he'll be there. And just trying to think of who else is going to be. So many people. Ernie Hudson. I think Danny Glover's coming.
I saw Ernie Hudson at Scaricon.
I know there's quite a few wrestlers that are going to be there. Pro wrestlers will be there.
Oh yeah,
some
Jimmy
paranormal
Superfly
people.
Snuka.
Well, he might. There's some legal issues with
Oh,
Jimmy
okay.
Snuka right now. He may have killed somebody, but that's
No big deal.
that's a subject
but
for a
hey!
different. It happened a long time ago, but still,
But
the statute of limitations.
He was
doesn't run out.
there a couple of years ago. What one was
He's
it?
at a
Was it?
Southcoast Toy and Comic Show.
Okay. So remember, I did
I was
meet him.
bartending.
Do you want to hear my Jimmy Snuka story?
Yes.
All right. I've never told you my Jimmy Snuka story.
No.
Well, for those who don't know, I'm a sports writer, and I got my start as a sports writer by covering pro wrestling. I wrote a pro wrestling column, and I used to go around to some of the local events and interview the wrestlers. And so I heard Superfly was coming to Brockton High School, and I was like, oh man, Superfly? I've loved him since I was a kid. So I followed him into the locker room area after the match, and I said, hey, Superfly, I'm a big fan. I've loved you ever since I was little. He's sitting there lighting up a cigarette. I was like, I've loved you ever since I was a kid. You were a big influence on my life growing up, and all that. He's like, hey, that's great. Hey, you want a cigarette? And I don't smoke, but
Right.
I took a cigarette from Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and I still have it, I think, somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
Probably disintegrated by now because that was like 10 years ago, but
Isn't it funny? I'll just leave it at that.
it's not really that funny. But
No, I was going to continue on, and then I just realized I would not continue on.
Uh-oh.
she's been smoking with
That's
other
the
wrestlers.
first time that you've ever filtered yourself on this show. I am proud of you.
I've seen a lot of wrestlers.
Well, you were especially excited to meet them at those Southcoast Toy and Comic Shows.
I'm still waiting to see Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
I thought he
Ed?
was there.
No?
I thought he was at one of them. You sure?
No.
Ed lives around here.
Why don't we find him, Tim?
He's never been to
Bring him
Southcoast
on.
Toy and Comic Show?
The last,
no,
the
not
last,
Brutus.
the last time that he came to an event, he was at the Seaport Inn
Yeah.
at a wrestling show there, and I had interviewed him for a story for the paper as kind of like a preview of the event. And he called me. This just sounds like I'm like bragging. Like I got Mick Foley's number on my cell phone. I can bring it, but I do. But so
Do
I
it.
had interviewed him for the story, and all of a sudden it's like a half an hour before the event's about to begin, and my phone starts ringing, and I don't recognize the number. I'm like, hello, and he's like, Tim? Yeah. He's like, this is Ed. And I'm thinking, I work with an Ed, and Ed, Brutus Beefcake. Yeah, how do I get to this place? So I had to kind of talk him in to the Seaport Inn from wherever he was. So
Was that the event that I was bartending?
you probably were, yes.
The,
As I brought
you
my son,
Ed? Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
That was,
I didn't
that
go
was
to
quite
that
a show.
one.
Oh.
You missed Tito Santana too.
Tito Santana.
Arriba!
There's a
He
sign
didn't die,
outside-
I
did he?
didn't-
Did he die?
No, he's a
No.
teacher in New Jersey.
Oh.
There's a sign outside my house that says Pro Wrestling Event Tito Santana.
So there you go.
I don't know. I
Mhm.
didn't know who it was. I just drive by it every day. But
Wendy Richter passed.
Nope,
No.
alive. She was just on
Elizabeth.
on TV.
Elizabeth.
Miss Elizabeth.
Oh,
died,
Miss
yeah.
Elizabeth.
credibility as a medium's going down the
Right.
tubes.
She's like, I think Wendy Richter is coming through to me right now.
No, I always I got stuck watching some like memorabilia of all the wrestlers that have passed.
In memoriam.
Big Mama passed. I think that was her name. And I started watching it, and then I started. Do you remember from Glow?
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about, the Glow documentary that came out.
It wasn't. It was just a
there was-
YouTube clip.
It was a great documentary that came out last year. Actually, I don't know if you remember Gremlina from Glow.
I've met Gremlina.
Yeah, she's a paranormal investigator.
We're friends on Facebook.
Right, she is an awesome person.
She was at a comic show.
And she
Yeah.
gives me a lot of updates on a lot of the Glow girls. But the last I heard, you're talking about Big Bad Mama.
Big Bad Mama.
And the last I heard, she was sick. I don't know if
She's
she's still
passed.
passed. Is she? Is she coming through right now?
She has no.
I was
She's
gonna
not.
say, Tiff,
She's
are we
not.
sure?
Because
No, the last
she's-
two were too.
the best thing she ever did was when she wrestled Al Bundy. That was great.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't know you guys talked wrestling on Spirit Connections.
You know what? I used to get all the magazines, all the wrestling magazines, all the time. I had the biggest crush because I always had to have a crush on someone, right? So my biggest crush was Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Naturally, that's a Tiff thing.
That's me. I'm. And
Did you have a crush on him even when he got bagged with the...
let's not talk about
All right,
that.
okay.
It's
That
always
story.
Tim always likes to crush my dreams. I love
Your
Eddie
dreams-
Money.
You too.
I
Your
love-
dreams will be crushed Thursday night.
Yep.
Are you going?
No,
Why not?
Okay.
I can't because I have a prior commitment that I can't.
I told her to
Cancel.
bring her prior commitment with her, but
Well, no, there's
it's
10
a fundraiser.
people.
It's a fundraiser. It's to benefit the kids. It's for the children.
Is it?
As Eddie Money always says, it's for the children.
I would like to see Eddie Money on a Legend Trip event. Can he be
We
the
could
celebrity?
probably work that
Please.
out. I think we could probably work
I
that out.
really would appreciate it if you just did it.
He's been on Spooky Southcoast, I think, twice now.
I've always wanted to get him here in the studio.
We could do
He's
that.
in New Jersey. There's a lot of people I want to meet in New Jersey. Let's go, Steph.
I think he lives in Long Island.
Go for it.
Oh, okay, we'll go to Long Island.
What do I care about any money for?
Why would you not care about Eddie Money?
I could walk on water.
Oh, now she's singing. So we're gonna wrap up the show.
I want to say, I'm looking at the clock now.
Is it? Oh, it's just about
Yep,
that
It's
time.
about that time. So, if you are not at Legend Trips, Slater Mill, Saturday night, you're not cool. Bottom line.
Legendtrips.com.
Tickets are still available for both that and all three of the events that we have coming up this fall. So, but if you really want to go to the Haunted Victorian Mansion, which was just featured on Ghost Adventures, you want to jump on that right away because there's only 8 tickets left.
Do it now.
Absolutely. And let us know that you did it.
Well, I'll know because I'll get the email.
Yeah, I know. But if they say we saw you on Spirit Connections and we went and bought a ticket,
If you put in the email when you purchase your ticket through PayPal that you saw it on Spirit Connections, I will guarantee you a hug from either Tiffany or Stephanie at the
There you
event,
go.
not both.
there you go.
Just one of the
My
other.
arms are open. My arms are waiting.
There you go. So go get your tickets. That one, October 12th, November 9th, any of them. Let us know that you got them. As usual, you can reach me at, actually I have a new Facebook page. So facebook.com/livelightLove3. So you can reach me there. It's a brand new business page. At sberg910 on Twitter. Tiff.
Spirit Medium Tiffany on Facebook, TiffanyRice.com, Spirit Tiff on Twitter.
And you can reach Tim Weisberg everywhere.
Matt got me doing the Vines, which
Oh,
you know,
I love the Vines.
haven't really kept up with it, but
I'm
a
such a
couple of my
stalker.
friends have been trying to push me into the more Instagram stuff, and I'm like, no,
Instagram's boring.
yeah, like I don't like taking pictures of myself or anything else,
Do
but
you like taking videos?
I'm on. Well, because you can be funny with those. It's hard to be funny in a picture.
Oh, no.
We could do a Vine at Slater Mill.
There
Who
you
wants
go.
to be
We
in our
definitely
Vine?
will. Matt did an awesome one at the USS Salem, but
He
I
did.
never saw it. I never saw where it
We will
went.
show you.
Oh, it
as
should
soon
be.
as
It
it's
should
over.
still be on his Vine list.
It's
He also
on-
did a really awesome one that we did at a wedding that we were at, but
That one still hasn't hit Vine yet.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for that.
So, but either way, we can reach you by SpookySouthGhost.com.
Right? Or on Twitter at Tim Weisberg, Facebook.com/theotherTimWeisberg.
That's funny.
Well, there's another Tim
I know,
Weisberg.
but
so-
Right.
it's just funny. So, thank you everyone for watching tonight. Get to Slater Mill on Saturday, and we will see you next week.
Next week.
All right.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.